I'm Grahamem Ralphem from the United Kingdom. I have a company that makes animated films for children called Silver Fox Films, and I was invited for the festival as a judge and then on the jury, which I'm delighted to have accepted. And I've been here for a few days and had a wonderful time and seen some incredibly good films. So I'm delighted to be here. Like a lot of animators I know that have been in the business, it's about in your blood. And I started drawing comics when I was about 10 years of age, and I always wanted to draw. I actually started drawing like a Batman comics, and this was really when I was about 12, and I would illustrate my own stories about defeating the bad guys. And then after that, I went into art college, and then I found animation was really a way to use those sort of inspirations and skills. I love puppetry, I like magic shows and things, so when I was a child. There was all this combination of drawing and fantasy. So then I discovered the Disney films, and it all fell into place. So really, I didn't stumble upon animation. It was in my blood. It found me, and I've been in it all my life. I've never done anything else. I don't think now that I could do anything else, because it's what I do. It's what I am. It's a hobby that I have been paid for, which is actually wonderful. Been very lucky. In the early days, it was Disney because there was not much else, really. You know, the Pinocchios and those films were Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty. Really, they were the only ones coming out of America that were feature length. And then I loved Tex Avery and Warner Brothers. Coyote, actually. Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner was my particular favourite. And for some reason, Foghorn Leghorn, I don't know if you remember him, but he was a great rooster that was wonderful. So those early little mini one-reelers, they used to call them, were wonderful, and the comedy was fantastic. And then in the 60s, I discovered European films, and that's when I first discovered Czech films, actually. The Little Mole was one of the first ones I saw on British television. So then my mind started exploring other things than American stuff, and I found European work, and everything broadened out after that. But that inspiration really was Disney, probably, as a lot of people say at the beginning. I mean, Svankmajer is one of my favourite animation directors. I mean, I love all his work. It's just everything was about the way he used the sound effects and the kind of surreality of it all, and I am spellbound by his work, so I really think he's in my top 5 animation directors. I don't know, something connected. He just got me. Everything he did and it still does. I mean, it's brilliant. The Log Child, I forget the name of the film, is absolutely beautiful, beautiful. I admire Nick Park. I tell you why, because I know Nick, but Nick manages to make films that are funny for everybody, and yet intellectually they work as movies. So he's managed to, because sometimes you get either the intellectual art film or you get a commercial movie. What Nick's done is managed to appeal to both sides. He's a universal filmmaker. So Nick is now one of my favourite, probably inspirational contemporary directors now. But you know, I go back to Miyazaki, and Miyazaki in Japan really is poetic and spirited away and beautiful. And even Yuri Norstein, you know, his films I loved because atmospherically. So that Frederick Bach, Man Who Planted Trees, Canadian animator, he's another one that inspires me. His film Man Who Planted Trees is just gorgeous. So there's many. I actually have quite a lot of different tastes. You know, I like the big blockbuster movies, which is fine. Frozen and Lego, and you know, I can enjoy those. But when I also like to watch films of, you know, really smaller films, independent films. Well, I'm a storyteller really, and actually I don't mind which medium you do it in. I do feel though that I'm a little bit tired of CGI. It's a personal thing, but I think they're really so polished now. So they all look a little the same, and I'm beginning to think I'd like to go back to see more 2D animation because it offers a more individual style. The hand-drawn feel is something more, something closer than the mechanical CGI polished thing. I think the standard of films here have been exceptionally high. I got a lot out of this festival. The work there's an amazing amount of good work. I mean, it is a little cliche to say as a judge, we found it hard to make a decision. But it was, because there's a lot of excellent work and also diversity, and some were for older children and some for younger children, and it was just a beautiful mix of. I salute you guys for selecting them, because I do think it was pretty good standard, and I look forward to every screening. And occasionally some festivals, you're going to fall asleep a little bit, and because it's. But this one was very, very always, everything had something to offer. So. Well, the main prize we found was Mythopolis, which was both. We worked very closely with the children's jury, so we listened to them too. And in fact, it was surprising to me that all of us, including them, all found that film. And we didn't have to persuade them, which is good, what it was to me, was that film couldn't have been done in any other way than animation. It was visually absolutely surprising, almost every frame. And yet it had quite an adult message, in a way. So you could react to that film on several levels. You didn't have to know about mythology, but in fact, there were elements there. But it was bringing these two together, and I thought it was a touching film. And funny and colourful, and it was a complete multi-layered film that we all found. No doubt, there was no argument. We sat down this afternoon and everybody went, "Yep." Anybody want to? Nope. Absolutely wonderful. So unanimous. And the second film we choose for the Artist Award, which was Rabbit and Deer, which was rather a wonderful contemporary and very clever use of multimedia with three-dimensional and two-dimensional. And it was, the director didn't just see it as, oh, look at these two styles. It was an emotional development between the two characters, one 2D and one 3D, which I found exceptionally good. So there was an engaging emotion to the entire story in the film. And you felt at the end their friendship, which I think was really hard to do, because the director could easily have just said, I'm going to make a clever film about 2D, 3D. But and I have seen that many times, but this one was much better than that. It was a surprisingly clever and well done film. Again, the jury was pretty happy with that decision too. I did. I won in Zlín when there was. I did of the award. It was. I think it's sort of many years ago, too many years. But it was a smaller festival, 97, 98, and it was an award which was a large doll. It was a ceramic doll, and it's about that high, and it was very fragile. And Huh? I was here. I came. I drove from Vienna with my musician, who was a musician on the film, and we came here. And there was so many films not as commercial. I'm a commercial filmmaker and storyteller, and our movie was what I call entertainment, not an art film. So I didn't think we would win. There were 100 films in competition. And I was so surprised that my musician and I were sat at the back of the cinema, and I said to him, maybe we should go for a Czech beer, which would be nice, yes. And then the winner is Forgotten Toys, Grahamem Ralphem, United Kingdom. And we continue talking. Do you fancy a beer? Yeah, a beer would be good. And everyone went, I mean, what? He said, you've won. Oh, no, we won. And I was so surprised, you know, because they were more serious films, I think, because my films were, for children, but not so serious as some of the others. But I have the award still. I sent a picture to you. And unfortunately, the arm broke on it was very big, and I had to carry it through the security at the airport. And it's very difficult, very fragile. And now I still have her arm, which fell off, but I keep it with it. So. It just seems, in my memory, was smaller festival. What I think this year is that the city embraces the festival. Everywhere you go, there's bands playing, there's things happening on the green, and in the cinemas, or people playing with little Lego bricks and stuff. And I think there's very much the city embraces it as a whole. Whereas I think back in that time, in my memory says it was much smaller, and not everybody knew about it. I think so. I think it's a bigger feel to it now. Of course, it grows as everything does. So. Yes, I do. But I'm more of a writer at the moment. I am working on a network show for America and the UK called Ruff, Tweet and Dave, which is going to be a preschool for young children. And I'm a story editor, meaning that I'm in charge of stories, and I write, but I encourage other writers to produce a show for the series. So that's I've graduated. I still direct. I still draw, and I design. But at the moment, I'm writing, which is another skill which I've enjoyed working on. And I'm developing a feature film now, which I've got great hopes for, and if we finish it, we'll love to bring it here, which is a movie, and if it's selected. But we've got a good cast, and we have good money already, but we need to finalise the deal. It's very difficult, but we hope to do that by Christmas or earlier, hopefully. So yeah, that's a big film, and that will be my heart and love will be there on that film. So. Yes, I developed it some years ago, and it's about aliens from coming to our planet to remove all our water. People believe aliens would just come and kill people, but actually smart aliens would come and take all our resources. So I thought about the water on our planet, that 70% of it is water. So these aliens know how to compress it down into tiny molecules. And but the problem the aliens have is they crash in a pond, because they're very small aliens, and a bunch of frogs and newts and dragonflies save the planet, basically. So it was called Water Warriors, now called Dudley, the movie, and it's a family entertainment CGI film, and I think it's going to be very funny.